chat. We got to talk. We got to get into the thick of it. And this is important. This is important. This is an important chat. We need to talk about the hard truth. We gotta talk about it. Because there's a lot of stuff going on right now with the first provisional done. I said provisional weird. With the first provisional done that I think we need to address. And his name is Kirishima. Everybody and their grandmother is saying that the meta is broken. There is something we need to do about this man. This man has got too much going for him. He's too good. And honestly, I agree. Honestly, I do agree with you. But we gotta get down to the nitty-gritty and figure out what to do about it. Okay? So first and foremost, what's the issue? What is going on here? Well, we just had this provisional. I'm sure that you saw him on the last meta breakdown that we did, because this is going to be its own separate video, obviously. What up? Say hi, YouTube. Kirishima is the best character in the game. He is. He is the best character by a fairly decent margin, to the point where in the top 16 of the provisional showdown, we had 8 Kirishimas, literally half of the board. And that's not the data that we suggested for the overall breakdown. With that said, though, there weren't a ton of Kirishima was the most represented character in the showdown, but there also just weren't like a ton of people fake citing Kirishima to sneak into tops. It was just literally Kirishima, just one. Kirishima 1. Top 4 of this and the Legendary Wolf 1K. True. He has been a quote-unquote menace throughout the entire format. He's too consistent. He's too good at blocking. He's too good at offense. He's too good at flow. He is not a 5-hand size character. There's things you could say over and over about Kirishima. And so people have been up in arms about what to do about it. Here is the most recent data for the breakdown, and this does include all events that had 30 or more people play in the game, and this does include the provisional. So 13.5% of the meta is Kirishima, but he's seeing all this amazing results. Now the question is this Kirishima himself, or is this really talented, skilled players just taking advantage of the fact that Kirishima is just like a really good character, and so they are able to leverage his advantages and play really good at the game? If we look at the provisional showdown, we had 2 of titans of the game, Chris Nixon and Kevin Broberg, make the top 2, not just in Swiss, but top 2 into finals. And so we had these 2 rock stars come in and play the inarguably best character in the game, and they found results. Oh, this is everything that I just said. Yeah, we had a top 16 breakdown, and Kevin Broberg won. This is a tough graphic to look at, honestly. When you look at the health of a game and you see half of your board is this one character, and that one character does win, it is tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. And the question is like, is this okay? Is it not okay? Because the rest of the field, right? 1 1 1 1 1 1 2. That looks very healthy. If we could have had that breakdown, or even if we just like doubled all of these numbers of like 2 2 2 2 2 2 3 2 4, right? Like that looks like a very healthy meta breakdown. But the fact that we've got this big number 8 is really spooky. It stinks. And so we have to do something. And so what are the choices? We have bans and erratas to the characters. We have the diversity rule, and then we have set 2. So in this presentation, I'm going to give the cold hard facts of what is going to happen with Kirishima and the things that we can do. And then at the very end, I'm going to give my opinion. So I'm going to try and keep this as unopinionated as possible about like these are the choices that we have in order to deal with what's going on. So first off, we have ban and errata. These are the 3 big contenders. We have Kirishima himself, coordinated effort, and hardened jab as the big, huge offenders to stop it. You could ban 1 or all 3 of these cards, and the game supposedly would be better. You could errata 1 or all of these cards, and the game would be better. There's a lot of things that you could do to just tweak this these numbers to make them a little cleaner and more palatable for the metagame. But here's the issue with bans and erratas, right? Just strictly, the person who the person that I have seen say this the most eloquently, is actually the person who won this event over on Rochester CCG's podcast, Top Deck Heroes, over on Twitch on Wednesdays. If you haven't subscribed to their or follow their Twitch, you should definitely do so. A lot of talented players playing a lot of really good things. And Kevin Broberg's big issue with erratas is that not everybody in the world is playing the same game of universes. If we take and we errataed Kirishima to do something else, we errata coordinated effort to do something else, we errata hard jab to do something else, and we don't reprint these cards immediately and make them very available to the public, not just the competitive players, but the kitchen table players as well, then the people who are playing kitchen table universes are going to be playing a different game than not. If we take and we put Kirishima's once per turn : and make it a your turn, if we take coordinated effort and we make it a remove cost instead of commit, if we take hardened jab and say that you can only build face-up cards, or only lift face-up, you still build, you lift, like options, right? You're going to have people in the world who play these cards differently, and right now they don't. Right now, everybody in the entire world is playing the game of universes. If you know the core mechanics of the game, everybody's cards do the same thing. And that's special, and that's good. That's a good thing to have for the health of a card game, truly. Same thing with bans, right? How many times have you shown up to a tournament and somebody has played a banned card from another card game? It happens. It really, really does, because people just are... You cannot fully, truly inform everybody. You can't. You just can't do it. And so, my personal opinion is I prefer bans over erratas. Jasco has the ability to reprint cards with very similar effects as soon as they're banned, right? We could easily ban Kirishima 1 dot and make Kirishima 2 dot do something very similar on these three symbols. You could ban coordinated effort and print super coordinated effort. That's a more fair card. Hardened jab, hardened jab, 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 and do something very similar to fix these cards. But then it starts to feel bad as we open up playing card packs. I open up my rare of coordinated effort, and then it's banned. I've wasted my $5 because I've gotten a card that I'm not allowed to play. I'm just not allowed to play this card. Coordinated effort is a banned card. I have to get super coordinated effort in some other pack. And so that is a feel bad moment when it comes to that. My personal opinion is that's not that big of a deal when it comes to rares. But if coordinated effort was like an ultra rare, it would feel really, really bad. Negamat says in the chat, restricted lists ever a thing in UVS. Petrol John says, like a Yu-Gi-Oh style limited or semi-limited list? ? No. The way that our limited list works is we put the unique keyword on things, because you're only allowed to have one of it on your stage. Well, the thing is some of these cards people think are so good that they're running 4 of a unique card. It is so that there's one option. There's one option of thing we can do. We could ban some of these cards. We could errata some of these cards. The next thing we can do is diversity. I've seen a lot of old heads pine for diversity as a solution. We've had too much Kirishima in the format, and so let's finally. It's time. We weren't going to do it in My Hero, but Kirishima is too strong. So let's introduce diversity. For any of my old head UFS players, Universes players, diversity has either haters or diversity has lovers. And I'm just going to explain how diversity works. So let's pretend that we're going to go play inside of a tournament and we have top 8. The way that the diversity rule works is only one character can exist inside of top 8 of that named character. So, for example, we have 4 All Mights currently in the game. All Might 1, 2, 3, and True Form All Might 4. If we had, like we had in the previous 1K, where we had 8 Kirishimas go into our top cuts, 7 of those Kirishimas would be kicked out of top 16. They would get 17 plus. Character plus version. That's very, very important. That's the reason I brought it up. We had an All Might 3, an All Might 2, and an All Might 4 make it into Top Cut at the one at the provisional this weekend, and that is allowed because they're different characters, different versions, right? Why is this a good thing? Because there are pros and cons to both. Why is diversity a good thing? Diversity is a good thing because it makes people feel good about playing these more rogue decks. It says that people who are not just net decking, people who want to put a little more time into their favorite characters, maybe a slightly weaker character, can be rewarded for playing something that's truly diverse. It says that you as a community member, right? I even have it in chat right now. Damn, I'm down as hell for diversity. Come at me, other Tokuyamis. You have a community-driven thing where you have people who will rise to the top as these. I'm a Tokuyami player. I had this happen to me when I went to Nationals one year for Universes. I was putting out pictures of me in costume as Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, saying, "Yo, everybody, I'm playing a Scorpion. Look at this super sweet costume." And I had more than one person come up to me and be like, "Yo, I was almost on Scorpion, but then I heard you were coming as him, and I don't want to get diversified." And so diversity takes in it shakes up the metagame on the character select screen. and it changes the actual idea of what am I going to play, right? And you've got a point of pride where, yo, I beat the best player who plays as that character, or I am the best player who plays as that character. I think it's neat. I think it's a really cool thing for a small grassroots community, but that is not what the My Hero card game is trying to be. So let me tell you about the negatives of diversity. And the negatives of diversity is bad data. It's bad data. If we had the diversity rule in effect, whenever we go back and we look at this chart, Kirishima's one slice. He's just one. No, there was one Kirishima in Top Cut. The other ones got diversified. So the other 7 Kirishimas aren't going to add to our data. More importantly, the two Jiros that got in, are not going to add to the data. It's just going to be 16 unique heroes, and it's possible with this split that we have somebody who's not in top 16 get into Top Cuts, but we have somebody who's in top 24 get into Top Cuts because these 7-8 players got diversified. With me? And so my personal opinion is I think that diversity in the traditional sense, as Satonis brings up, is a bad thing. I do not want this in My Hero. I think that it does not do a very good job of shaping and showing how the meta works. There has been suggestions of maybe increasing diversity counts. I know Satonis in chat is a big fan of 2+ diversity, but even at the same time, I feel like we should just play the game and play the game. I think we should just play the game. I think that is totally okay. And I think that making people find the best deck is good. I think that it is I think it is the correct thing to do, and that's my personal opinion. The last thing we can do is wait for set 2. And so we are only 180 cards into the game. As Qui-Gon Jinn once said, there's always a bigger fish, which means there's always a biggest fish. And Kirishima just happens to be our biggest fish. There are plenty of characters who can fight Kirishima. There are plenty of characters who can do well against Kirishima. The issue is consistency. And maybe with set 2, we can find some things that consistently mess up Kirishima, the big man on campus. But I can personally say that as soon as you ban one of these characters, there's just going to be a bigger fish. If Kirishima doesn't exist, what happens to Nomu when he doesn't get auto blocked twice a turn? What happens to Jiro whenever she doesn't have -4 damage on her turns? What happens to Tokoyami whenever? And this list can go on and on and on. Kirishima should exist in the format, but maybe there's something we can do about it. And set 2 might be that answer. And those are the main 3 things that I can see to happen when it comes to fixing the game, fixing the format. So here are my thoughts. I think that diversity is not a thing we should do. I think we should totally and completely stay away from it. If it ends up being an issue 5, 6, 7, 10 sets down the line, we should definitely. Everyone has their own idea of who the next boogeyman is. Correct. I think 10 sets down the line, if diversity is like a neat thing and the game is genuinely balanced, then diversity is a cool thing, right? Diversity is really, really cool if the game is balanced. But if the game is not balanced, and it is half of the meta is playing one character, then diversity just feels bad for people. It does. As somebody who is at a tournament has been diversified for going XX1, I got no losses. I exclusively got a tie with the person who got first place. They got first. I got second. Just kidding. I got ninth. It feels bad. It feels really, really bad because I played an amazing game. I had a wonderful, amazing day, and I didn't get rewarded for it. It stinks. It stinks. So my opinion, if I had to make a choice, if I had to make a move right now, and it wasn't just wait for set 2, which I think is the right answer, it would not be to ban Kirishima. It is to ban coordinated effort. I think Jab loses a lot of power. I think Kirishima loses a lot of power, and that's where I would start. If these characters are still that good, that potent, after the coordinated effort ban, I think that you could maybe go after Jab and then maybe after Kirishima. But I just feel that effort is just so freaking free. And, maybe there's more foundation hate, right? Currently, the metagame is literally saving all of my disruption pieces to just deal with the one card on the table. Well, if those slots got freed up, maybe I have more disruption pieces in order to deal with the other cards that are punishing against Kirishima. Kirishimas that don't find coordinated effort makes me feel really, really good. And I feel like I'm actually playing a good balanced back and forth game. But I think that it is tough. I feel like telling though that Broberg cited out coordinated effort versus me and the deck still functioned very well. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that I don't think Kirishima needs coordinated effort. It takes him from being a very good character to being super powered, absolutely jacked. And so there is that. With that, I actually think that the real answer is just wait for set 2. I think if after set 2 we are 2 months down the line and Kirishima still is the absolute top of the top, we've introduced another 30 characters into the game, and we still have this half split. Kirishima is half of top 8. Obviously, we do something about it. Or maybe there's a new boogeyman. We've seen plenty of other characters that can use Kirishima's stuff just as free, but maybe it's a less of a defensive control character, but it's more of an aggressive character. We'll just have to wait and find out. And that's my thoughts. And that is that's how I feel about this hard truth. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It would be very cool to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your ideas. I know Twitch chat has been blowing up, and so I appreciate you guys being here. It is a thing that we as a community should keep our senses about us. And we do need to come up with good active solutions as community members, right? Because as the community, we are the people who are buying the product. And if we are not happy with the product, then the company should do something about it. But I think pitchforks and torches is like not a great way to go about it. I think that we just should. There's a middle ground for sure. And that's really all I have to say about that. But once again, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. So with that, thank you much for watching, you guys. I greatly appreciate it, and I wish you all well.